Let's make some autumn crafts using our paper and fabric scraps. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space.
I'm going to just throw things together today. So what I've got is two 12-inch strips and they are 2 1/4 inches across. If you haven't seen my snippet rolls before, I will eventually end up linking the two together to make a very long strip. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the scrap tray. So I always have a little tray here. It really is quite small. It's only that thin. Can you see? It's just a paint palette tray for really for mixing paints in, and I didn't want anything deeper than that. The whole point being is if it gets too overfilled, I start getting overwhelmed. So as soon as it starts to not be flat, that's when I want to be doing something like this and just reduce it. So I've got lots of things here. I've got paper, torn bits, old digital kits, fabrics, all the rest of it. And these came off of the 1840 newspaper digital kit that was the freebie on my Ko-fi page. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to stick this down because I want to put some fabric on these snippet rolls. So before I get too involved, I'm just going to start pulling off things that I can see here that may be of use. So I'm thinking of autumn and anything that's sort of looking a bit autumnal is being pulled out of this tray. Oh, we're doing well, it's quite a lot here. Okay. Keep hunting. Tea bags, no, I'll keep the tea bags for the leather paper. I like to make that. We're running out of tea bags. Can't drink it quick enough. But I have had some builders in and they are drinking tea. So that's why it's been a bit difficult to film, because we've had a lot of bashing and crashing as they have had to fix the flooring. All right, so I've got some scraps here to the side. Just put down some strength to this by using our stick glue. So stick glue and scraps today. I'm just going to add that on like that and then bring in this. I'm not going to be worrying about the sides of this because it is going to go through the sewing machine, this one. But you don't have to if you don't like sewing, or you haven't got a sewing machine, or you're just not interested in that. Then you need to be mindful of your glue and just make sure you're gluing down everything. Because we've got some fabric, I'm going to have to use my 3-in-1, which is here. And we have now got the Fabri-Tac for the other projects. So that's exciting. I just haven't got it to hand. Just putting down paper. Get it? Just a variation. Because you never know what might peep through when it does, you want to be able to see different things. So I'm just doing a variety of crafts for fall and autumn. I'm putting this all in the fall and autumn crafts, fall and autumn crafts playlist, so we can keep those all together as a nice collection, and then they'll always be there for you and you can dip into them and just get some inspiration and just see how you feel about having a go, which may be not today, but they'll all be there so you can find them. That's why I do it, so that they're there to be found. So this brown bit here and this bit here is Old Teabag. So that was Old Teabag acrylic paint, and you can see how I make that to make it look like leather with some shoe polish over the top of it as well. On my video I'll link that one. So that is in the French Linen Botanical Journal, which is still ongoing. A couple more videos on that, but it is quite special now. I'm really loving that journal. So I'm wanting to take a bit of time over the next few pages just to bring it all together. So we're building up for that, and hopefully I'll be able to have a bit more time this weekend to really settle in, finish that folio off that I've been doing. And I've got pages that I want to do about mountains. That's because I had a lovely had a lovely message from a lady called Jan. Hello, Jan, over in New Zealand, and she gave the most lovely message about mountains in New Zealand, and it's absolutely wonderful of how the mountains have their own rights, the same rights as humans, because it's just, see, that's going to look lovely, isn't it? Oh, I'm bringing in the fabrics and I'm not ready for it. How they have the same rights as humans, and rivers as well, and there's just a real respect for nature, and I applaud that. I think that's wonderful. So that has been a bit of an inspiration. The same token that Arthur Bully was one of these plant hunters, so if you're not familiar with the story or what I'm talking about, that is all part of the botanical journal that is the French Linen Botanical Journal. On that playlist you can follow along and see how I make a journal from scratch. And that is a bit of a study from my part, just looking up about the life and the works, or the life work of Arthur Kilpin Bully, who brought us a lot of amazing botanical finds in he started in late 1800s, so 1898 is when he went to set up the botanical gardens in Cheshire near Liverpool on the Wirral in England, and they still remain there today. And his scientific research, or his botanical endeavours, he's preserved seeds, he's preserved plants, and it is part of a conservation programme in England today. So all of these things connect us because a lot of the plants were taken from countries where you are watching from, because they went all over the world. So it's just fabulous because we're so connected by nature, and that's the one thing I feel that we can talk about, and everybody feels comfortable with that. And plants and nature, it's absolutely a passion of mine. It's calming, I find, to immerse yourself in nature, and if you can't do that, then I find it's wonderful just to play around with images of nature. So I'm very much enjoying this quiet craft that is using up scraps of fabric and paper, and just putting things down where you think they need to go. I like that little shot of pink, so that's a happy colour. Let's have that. Let's just add that there. So it doesn't look like anything much at the moment. I've got my big woolly jumper on today. I'm feeling a little bit chilly here. This is my box that I'm just now filling in. I felt that was a little bit more autumn and fall, so I've got my stickers, I've got fabric bits, and I'm putting it all in here, and this is what I'm pulling from. So I'm just going to have it off to the side. No, that's going to be precariously balanced. Hang on. Okay. I'm going to run this through the sewing machine at the end, so everything's going to get tethered down a little bit more securely. But I've brought in things like this. I've got cheesecloth and more book page, so maybe we'll just have a bit more book page up here. Alright, so we just start putting that down any which way we can. And now I want to start bringing in the interesting bits. So as far as I'm concerned, that is my blank piece of white paper, if you like. That is my starting point. That is not the finished product. That is my starting point. Okay, so I've got to that. So I'm not worried about any of it, because now I'm going to create. Now I'm going to put the interesting things on. It takes away that stark, bright white with nothing to go on. But here I can start looking. I've got antlers popping out of me. The buck paused. That's talking about deer in the woods. This one, bullied by other bucks. That's ratting. That's such as nature, it says. And what have we got here? Shadows. It is a season, and the shade So I'm getting a sense of the shadows and the low light. I'm feeling the oranges. I can see this nice shot of orange coming through here. I've got the browns, leaf turning to brown, the falling leaves. I can feel all of that coming, you know, emerging. So we want to put down this because this reminds me of, look, it reminds me of the leaves. So we're going to start bringing in that. So this is how, when you start thinking, right, I want autumn, and we start thinking, what does that mean? So I've got a page here that has come from a book talking about the forest, and they're talking about male deer fighting or foraging for foods. Let's think along those lines. So I've got some purple, so that could be berries. So this is now starting to get more interesting. So I'm going to bring in a more heavyweight glue because I want to bring over the fabrics, and there's some browns and greens, and off we go. So putting a little bit of glue here down the side. So if I got, it's going to bring in a bit of colour. I've got this napkin, which is great. So we just, oh, where's that going? Do we want blues? Bit of this, bit of that. What if we ended up with some green? Ooh, oh dear. Okay, green or a yellow leaf. Fluffy thing, stuff, yellow, russet reds, pretty, lovely. Right, good. Now that's more of an interesting palette. Can't find the thing. Hang on, let's dig it out. Dig through. Here we go. Here we go. The napkin, beautiful paper, which is very hard to tear, but that brings in yellow. Bring up the yellow, that's great. And a bit more over here. There we are. I hope everybody's okay, settling into some crafts. You can craft along here, no problem at all. You just need a strip of packaging, cut it into a strip, and just find things. So what I did to make this easier for myself is I got this box and I just started to look about at my scraps and pulled in the colour tones that I wanted to use, the things that made me think of autumn. And I found these. I've got a pack of these, I think, last year when they were on sale, and so I'm now bringing those into my crafts as well. So just use what you have. Using what we have, old bits of digital kit and newspaper and bits of fabric. So the fabric's going to be my top layer. I just want to bring in this brown. Feel like that's more of a leaf. Just the offcuts from when I made other projects, when I made that little purse. And now they can just become part of something else. So just stick it down. Don't think about it too much. Just find the gaps, look for the gaps, and fill the gaps. All right, that's all we do. Just put it down anyway. I've got this. This was a bit. Oh gosh, this is old. This is when I was making toys. I made a toy, or attempted to make a toy. Like a teddy bear. It was its ears. I think this you who copes with fabric, so if you haven't got any of the stronger glue, oh look, it's furry. That's really weird. That's different. So this is you know, this is fake fur for toy making. Well, I bet you never thought you were going to have a fluffy snippet roll, did you? But we've got one. So funny. Fluffy snippet rolls. whatever next? So on this channel we have aromatic glue sniffing that goes on. We have fluffy snippet rolls. Oh, a subscriber here called Janet, she was making me laugh the other day because I've said, and I don't even realise I'm saying it, oh, it's a little something moment and a little something moment. She said, oh, we need to add that to the junk journaling lexicon to, you know, like a dictionary. I thought that's so funny, but there you go. There's a little something moment. There's nothing there and it wants something that's little, so it's a little something moment. And that is... I don't even realise I'm saying some of this stuff. And then you've been asking, but where's the fish? I was like, oh yes, that's because the fish came about when I had a very silly time with my brothers back in the summer, and we had this, well, it was meant to be a very serious meeting, and we ended up it being anything but serious, and we just started having a giggle, and it was lovely because it broke the ice of what we needed to discuss, and we ended up giggling. And so when I came back and I did my journaling that day, I was just finding it funny to put down random things, which is this is random things, but what I chose, what I found sort of quite funny at the time, was a fish. And I said it the other day about a fish. And I've got some stickers of fish, and they just make me laugh because I can't even remember ordering them or buying them or whatever. But they're so funny, so I think we'll bring in. He's funny. He reminds me of a long time ago where we had the big mouth Billy Bass, and it was a musical, plastic musical. Well, it's not really a child's toy. It was just a very funny thing you could buy. You press the button. It was on a plaque, so it was like a fish that had been mounted from somebody's fishing trip. That's what it looked like. You press the button and it started singing "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and this fish was just coming off of the wooden plaque going "Don't worry, be happy," and it just flipped out and it just made me giggle. That was a long time ago, so ever since then when I see a fish it just makes me giggle, and I think I will just be bringing this into the project today, although this snippet roll is going out as happy mail, so there we go, keep them wondering. But actually this is going off to Birmingham, and lady there, lovely Jeanette, follows along, so she is a subscriber here and part of the Facebook group where we have a swap for the UK. So I just set up a swap for the UK girls, and I'd love to do an international one. We are working towards that, so if you want to join the Facebook group and add pictures of anything that you make here, using the ideas, if you feel comfortable, confident sharing what you've made, because it is a big deal, isn't it, if you're just starting out and you're not sure. You know, we're a lovely bunch. If you post something that you've been making using some ideas that you've seen here, it's going to be met with a lot of encouragement and praise. That's what I've noticed from this community. You are all absolutely wonderful. So that, yeah, I think we'd better have that fish. Okay, so there you go. Thank you, ladies. There's the fish. Okay, so when you can see you want to put some bits of fabric in, it's quite nice for a little continuity to bring that colour in at various points all the way down, and then you start to bring in a little bit of control with it. So I haven't got any more of that colour, I don't think. Oh, isn't that pretty? I want the busy bit. That's nice. I'll take this. This is from this digital kit from Journals in Time. That's Rose from Journals in Time. She has given me this kit to have a little play with, and so I'm just going to add it in at various points just because these were scrap bits from yesterday. And then what else have we got? A bit of corduroy as you do. Okay, let's have a look at this. I've got my paintbrush here for pointing. So having a look here, we now want to start to find anything a bit boring, anything that hasn't got anything on it, any blank bit that's just sort of, what's that? What does that mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. There's nothing there. Whereas here, that's interesting. It's a pretty decorative piece of paper. That's lovely. That's lovely. That's lovely. That's just texture. So we want something there. Not a lot going down there, so we perhaps want something there. And then as long as we can see sort of the intrigue of the writing, there's nothing there, so it's a little something area. There's nothing here, so it's nothing there. I've stuck that one on upside down, so we need to put something in there. Start on the third layer now. So now you look at it and think, that's my blank canvas. All right, so that's a bit of an odd thing to say, isn't it, when it's not, because you've already covered it with lots of things. But it is. You have to think of it like that, because you keep going. Keep going. More is more on these projects, so this is where, you know, you could start bringing in more interesting focal things. So keep going, having a look at it. What's here? Nothing. Would it look better with a little ticket or something? Yes, probably, because it goes with the red. So that's why that's going there. This is another one from the Full Friends kit, little snippet there. Do I want a bit of textured tissue paper? Napkin? Yes, I do. I do want to do that. That's going to be there. Cut a bit out here. I'm just thinking, if I cut a leaf shape out of it, if I just do a very rough cut and make a sort of a leaf shape out of it, using fabric scissors here. That brings in a nice shape, little ovals. Using the point, there's already a point there, so that's the pointy bit of your leaf. So they're interesting. You could add those in. That's another idea. A bit of hessian or burlap. Be careful not to add too much bulk. It's quite fun. Adding the leaf. This is just the sort of thing you get from a craft shop. Just add that in there. Leaf shapes, that might be more interesting. Playing around with the colours, layering it up. It's all about layering it up, this one. Just little blobs, we don't need to be using the glue up. Fluffy bit there, why not? You see these sort of textures like that on mushrooms and things, don't we? So it's quite nice to bring in that texture. Keep going. Don't lose your nerve, don't lose your patience, don't think, oh, what am I doing? Keep with it, because it is a process. You have to go through the messy bit. You have to just get through that. It's like life, isn't it? You just got to get through it. And then what will happen is something that makes sense will emerge. So that is what we're doing here. We're just getting through this sort of scruffy bit that doesn't make any sense at all. Don't worry about that. It doesn't need to make sense. Why does it need to make sense? Why does this need to have a theme? Does it have a theme? Doesn't need to. You don't need to add focal points that bring it into anything, because this is a snippet roll, so it could be as eclectic as this, and it could be something that then you snip from and then add your black and white image of a photo or something with a very complicated background, but you tie it all together with something neutral. I'm just wondering if I want to have a gold leaf. What would it look like if I cut a leaf in half? Just have a bit on the edge. That's fun. Okay, now I think what I'd like to do is just work out how they're going to link together so that I can put something over the join. And I'm thinking this bit here is fine, so I'm just going to push that bit up, just peel that bit up so that I can attach that on. Adding a bit of glue there, I'm now going to attach this in here. Just pull that bit up. Okay, and then I can just glue down the bits. Okay, and then just glue those bits down, and it is as if it was never there. And then what I'll do is I'll just put some fabric over there, and then that just strengthens that join. Bring in this sort of purple berry colour. This, cutting up little bits of fabric anywhere that I feel now I can start pulling them in. I will do that.
Okay, so now we can see where we want to add things. So we're looking like this. So we've got the fabric on, we've got bits hanging off, it's all looking very eclectic and scruffy, but we are not done yet. So we look at it and think, that's my blank canvas. So I've forgotten how many layers we've done. I think we're up to number 3, but it's not done. So now we start looking at spaces. Now how about if we were to frame it? Let me think how I can show this. If we separate bits, if I snip that bit off, is that interesting enough? Does it need something more? Does it need a focal point? Could it look 100 times better if it had a fussy cut image on it that sort of brought it all together? So could you cut things out of magazines or books and have interest there? And then you just sort of work down in sections and think, if I were to cut it, would that be interesting? Or would it look better with a bit more texture, a little bit of lace or something? What does it need? What's really going to make it work? Okay, so that's your sort of not final layer, but this is the next layer, is to then bring in interest. Maybe if I cut down here, it's all going to get sewn down and glued in some way, so perhaps I could just remove that edge piece, and then that's really interesting to go somewhere. Same here, and then cut those little flowers away, and then those flowers can be dotted about. So let's try that. Maybe breaking up some of the red and things like that and just adding in something there. And then I've got these really sweet owls, so I'm just going to cut those. They were just ribbon. I'm just going to cut the owls out so that they're free and easy, and they'll be living on my autumn snippet roll. I'm just going to put them where I can see a little gap, and they can go down like a focal point. Okay, so these are my interesting trim pieces. I'm going to start adding those in, but what I want to do now is bring, for a final layer, is bring in some images that we've got here. So these are fussy cuts, or they could be digital kits, they could be photographs, they could be anything that you're cutting out and you're wanting to add on. Where might they sit and live and really look good on the project? Toadstools up there. These fussy cuts, so I've got this bird. Just using stick glue here. I do want him stuck down reasonably well, because if he starts peeling up, I shall lose all the elements, get caught up in the sewing machine, and I don't want that. Then we've got these fabulous toadstools. I'm going to put our fish. Oh, he's washi tape. Well, that's not so interesting. So I'm going to stick him on some maths paper and sort of tear him out, just to give him a white background. Okay, so that's fine. So it's a happy accident. We'll work that out. We'll just give him a bit of a edging here. with some ink. This is Rusty Hinge by Distress Range. Fish is going in there. Snippets there. And then the same with this cerise pink. I don't think we want much of that, but it will just be fun. This is fun because it gives you some tape measure on a ribbon. And we can start to see something interesting emerging now. Okay, so here we have it. So now we can start to look at it and think, right, would it be all the more interesting with a little bit of lace here and there? Then we can stand back and have a look at it and think, wow, are we nearly there? And would the whole thing be made even more fantastic with some gold butterflies, which I found? And the answer is, of course, going to be yes. So we will just put the odd little butterfly around the place, about that. By just popping these on the leaves. So how I'm going to tackle this, I'm just going to run it through the sewing machine. I'm going to do wavy lines all the way through. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine. I'm just going to be passing it through on a straight stitch setting. So just adjusting that to a straight stitch setting. I've got a paintbrush here just so that when it passes through I can make sure it catches everything as it goes through. So I'm going to just put the foot down now, put the needle down, and then I'm just gently sewing all the way down to the bottom in a wavy line, okay? And I just start to pull the project towards the camera and then away. And just making sure everything's passing under the foot. I did leave this to dry before I started to sew, so it has been left so the glue has had chance to dry. I wasn't quick enough there, so I'm just gonna make sure that catches. I'm using a blue thread, so I've put in sort of a nice bright turquoise blue thread, which picks out some of the blues that are being used in here. I'm just waving the line, so just pulling it and then pulling it back again. Do you see? Just pushing it and then that's it. I'm lifting the foot up, and all I'm going to do is just swing the snippet roll back round. I'm lowering the foot and I'm going to go back again, but this time I shall loop round and zigzag through so that I'm not going over my same line. So now I'm coming over this way where I haven't been yet. This could be more of a straight line. And as I get more confident with it, and where I can see there's not too much that's going to catch under, I just speed up a little bit by gently pushing down on the foot pedal. I control the speed. Foot pedal up. And here we have it all sewn in from the sewing machine, looking rather lovely and
bright and autumnal in its colours. You can, if you get anything peeling up, now's the time to just take a little bit of stronger glue and just tack down anything, particularly if it's paper and you don't want to lose that bit of paper, otherwise it will just tear away, and maybe that's okay. And what you then can do is each little portion would be something you could cut away and use as a tab or a cluster, and you can start to put things on top of it if you're cutting it away and using it in a project. Maybe you bend bits away, maybe this bit's a belly band, and we've seen how to use them in the journal, but you would then be able to bring in labels and things and also stick those on and group them together, so maybe they come over here. So this is one of the newspaper clippings from my Ko-fi page, and this is a nice little label here from Kleeblatt Creations. So that's Kaylee Kleeblatt Creations. Lovely German designer, so links for those are below. And I've been using these in my other snippet rolls, so she brought us the wonderful lady. There's beautiful images. She's also got things like that. And as you can see, if you bring in a more muted tone, something a black and white with the vibrant background, you can see how that brings its own little intrigue and pops off. So you could bring in black and white photographs with this fun background on your page. All of this could be paper as well, and if you'd like to see how I've done a paper one in the past, I'll leave the link below. That's in the French Linen Botanical Journal where we did one, and I'll just show you very quickly the paper ones. And this is one where I've used just paper with a few little bits of fabric coming in, but mainly just paper. That one's nice and flat and it's in muted tones. So you be in control of the colour palette, and you can do them as pale or as bright and as vibrant as you like. But they would sit on a page and just become something really, really fun. So if we were going to have a look at a page here, and this was your autumn journal, you could now just have this being a side tuck and being really fun. And then if you wanted to bring anything else in, you could. It wouldn't need it, but you could, and then just put some labels and things on if you so wished. But it's all really done, that you've done the work for yourself. So, and again, you could just have a little snippet of it, and that be the topper of something. So that's how we do that, guys. I hope that that's been fun for you, and we're going to have a look at the prize draw now, but I'm going to put that to one side, and that is our snippet roll. So that's 24 inches of fabulous fun. Okay guys, let's do the prize draw. Okay, so this is the final time I shall be offering this goodie bag. I'm just putting in the new comments from the video on our autumn and fall crafts the other day. I'm just putting in the security question there and then getting the comments. So there's 31 chances here, guys. Okay, so just to let you know, Brandy has now seen all of this and she has got in touch, and I do have her address. So if this is unclaimed over the weekend, I will be sending this directly to Brandy in Washington. And if it is claimed, then Brandy will be getting something else, because there was a little bit of confusion there and I didn't give her much time, to be honest, but I just want this goodie bag to go. So no problem, I've got plenty of paper to go around, and I'm sure that we can all just have some fun with this evening. So I am going to press the button and we'll see who is the final winner. This is the final time I will be calling this goodie bag. Okay, so thank you all for your wonderful support. I'm going to press start and I wish you all the very best of luck. Here we go, you're all whizzing through. Nikki in the Netherlands. Oh, there you go. That's absolutely wonderful. And that's from Nikki in the Netherlands, who said she would love to win the goodie envelope, for just the envelope alone. Oh, thank you, Nikki. And thank you for all your wonderful support and comments. I do read them, and I really love your feedback. So that is perfect. Okay, that's great. So that's going off to Nikki in the Netherlands. You do need to email me, Nikki, and I will put the email address up on the screen now. So email me there over the weekend and I will get this out to you on Monday. And Brandy, don't worry, I will send you another something in the post and you will be very happy with it, I'm sure. Okay, all right, guys, well, that was great fun. I'm really pleased. So that is hopefully going to Nikki, who said she will check it every minute to see whether she's won. So I'm really hopeful that this is now going to a very lovely home, and that's over into the Netherlands. That's Europe. So how fantastic is that? So we've had them flying around the world. All my wonderful scraps are really pleased, and this has been such fun, and I hope that you've enjoyed that too. So thank you to all my supporters over on Ko-fi recently. I think a few of you have found that I am offering a membership now over on Ko-fi, and if you sign up to be a member and offering me some support through donations, that's absolutely incredible. I can't thank you enough. There will be some more prizes and intrigue for members coming up in later on in the year, so you will be having a few privileges for that wonderful thing that you've done to support. Okay, guys, so I hope you've had fun with this. You can add that to a journal. So the key to this is keep going. When you think you've done enough, just think, could I do a bit more? And keep going, and then it will just enhance the overall look in the end there. So thanks to all my wonderful supporters and everybody that has donated over on Ko-fi and bought me a nice cup of tea. Everything goes towards creating better videos and content for you guys. It's a win-win, and I can't thank you enough. So I'm going to put up some more detailed photographs over on Ko-fi, so you will be able to see a bit more of the detail. I also post up on Instagram. It doesn't always happen instantly, but over the weekend I hope to catch up on all the social media things, and we will get back on track and bring some more wonderful inspiration your way. So thank you very much for joining me. Do please like and subscribe and all those things that you already do. And above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.